This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me right now is Sean Carrick. He is the president and CEO of Nascent Biotech. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is NBIO in the US on the OTCQB. Sean, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you. And also, we appreciate you participating in our most recent virtual events. So anybody who's listening to this, you can also check out their most recent presentation on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SNNWire. So with that, this is our first time doing an interview together. And what I usually like to do with all of our CEOs that we have on here for the first interview is to love to get an overview and history of the company. So with that, Sean, the floor is yours. Please take it away.
The history of the company is our antibody was developed about 25 years ago at UCSD in Southern California, University of California, San Diego. It was taken back to Japan, where a phase 1, a phase 2, an expanded phase 2 study was performed with good results. And then the founder died. So his son licensed it back to a professor at UCSD who continued development. That was in 2008. He re-engineered it into a new cell line along with Catalent Corporation. That took a few years to do. I got involved around 2013. Since I've been involved in the cancer space, we've done all of our preclinical work. We've done all of our manufacturing, worked out all of the issues with manufacturing, and we now have a cleared IND to begin phase 1 cancer studies, which we will be doing at Hoag Presbyterian in Newport Beach, California. Recently, with the COVID-19 pandemic, we have done some research using our antibody. What we know is that our target, cell surface vimentin, is also needed for the virus to infect cells. So we have just begun research into that, and we hope to have some confirmative in vitro studies within the next 30 days.
Perfect. All right. So, I have to ask before we dive a little deeper, because, most of the news flow coming from Nascent in the last 4 to 5 months has been regarding, their developments in COVID. But before we get there, I have to ask, what makes the company unique and different compared to some of your peers out there?
From the brain cancer side of the business, we have already had a phase 1, a phase 2, an expanded phase 2 done on brain cancer. So our company already has a clinical pathway. We have a regulatory pathway, which we've been following very closely. And we're we're clinical trials ready. We have a cleared IND. There's been a lot of research into all of the different coronaviruses. And the reason we started researching it is the founder son, Albert Hugwil. He sent us a study that was performed in Taiwan that specifically named our target as a favorable target for coronaviruses. That was followed up with another study done in Japan, and that's what really launched our interest in seeing if we can provide a treatment solution for patients who are afflicted with the infection.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper. Where are we currently at in the development for a therapy for COVID-19 coronavirus infection? And then also you recently announced a collaboration for vaccine development as well. So can you give us a little more color there?
Sure. As far as Prytumumab, our monoclonal antibody is concerned, we don't have as clear of a clinical pathway in our development. So the in vitro studies will confirm what direction. We feel like we have a handle on it, but there's a couple ways to do it, and the in vitro studies will help us along that clinical pathway. The collaboration that we just signed with Manhattan BioSolutions, it's using the BCG bacteria, which is used in bladder cancer, and adapting it as a vaccine for the treatment of COVID-19 and other viral infections.
Got it. So, you announced the various developments like I said, a little bit starting earlier in the year. And I have to really follow up. I mean, have you been in touch with various government agencies to get grants to further along the development? Or are you kind of doing everything in-house first, proving out a couple things, and then going from there?
That's exactly right. We're trying to get we'd rather go apply for grants after we get the in vitro studies back and know what direction we need to go, and we have scientific support for the direction that we're going to go. We've actually reached out to the FDA, and we're trying to get a pre-IND meeting for the COVID-19 project.
And from what you can tell us, I don't know if you can or not, but when do you expect some of that readout to be coming public?
The in vitro studies, they're already 3 weeks late on that, so we're hoping any day now. We've spoken to the person representing us, and they said that there's just so many companies that are trying to get these types of studies to see if they can adapt their current technology or their current offerings to viral infections. And we're just another one. So we're in line like everybody else, and we hope the university who's initiating the in vitro studies said that they ran out of virus and they had to grow more. So that's part of the delay.
Got it. And what's your background? I mean, what brought you to Nascent Biotech back in, I believe you said 2013, or what were you doing prior to that?
I have been in life sciences my entire career. I've worked for Pfizer. I've worked for a small biotech called Praces Biotech. I've also worked in medical devices for American Medical Systems and McKay Medical Systems and ConMed in their Limbitech division. So I've been at this a long time, 30 years now.
And then from what you can tell us, what are the 1 to 2 things that investors should look for now moving forward?
Execution of our plan. So the key inflection points we hope to see in the very near future is our in vitro studies back, a clear clinical pathway, and grant applications for COVID-19, and hopefully an expansion of our current approved IND for brain cancer, hopefully an expansion into COVID-19 for a phase 1 study. On the brain cancer side, we hope to open our clinical trial here within the next month to 6 weeks.
Well, with that, where can my audience go and find more information about Nascent Biotech and everything they need to know about the company?
They can go to our website, nascentbiotech.com. They can reach out to me directly. My name's everywhere on all of our press releases at the very bottom. They can reach out directly to me and request a phone call or a Skype call like this one. And or they can reach out to, I can set them up with any of our science personnel, anybody on our science team.
Well, with that, Sean, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Wish you guys the best of luck. Stay safe, and look forward to our next update.
Thank you very much, and thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.